Welcome back to the channel. Today's story is a slow-burn psychological thriller that started in the most mundane way possible, a notification on a locked phone. Most people scream when they find out their life is a lie. They pack bags, they throw plates, they demand answers. But our protagonist, Elena, did something much more terrifying. She stayed quiet. For months, she lived, ate, and slept next to a man who didn't exist, all while weaving a web of her own. This isn't just a story about a breakup, it's a masterclass in the cold, calculated art of the long game. If you've ever wondered how far someone can go when their heart is turned into ice, stay tuned. This is, My Boyfriend Lied for 5 Years. I Stayed Quiet. I'm Elena, a woman who builds structures for a living, but never realized I was living in a house of cards. I used to believe that love was about transparency, until I discovered that my entire 5-year relationship was a masterclass in deception. I remember the exact temperature of the room when my world ended. It was 68 degrees. I remember because I was shivering, but not from the cold. I was holding Mark's phone. He was in the shower, humming a song, the same song he sang at my sister's wedding. A notification popped up. No name, just a string of numbers. The girls missed their daddy. When are you coming home for real? 5 years. 1,825 days. That's how long I'd shared a bed with a man who had a second family 3 towns over. I didn't scream. I didn't even cry. I just felt this strange, hollow click in my chest, like a gear shifting. I put the phone back on the nightstand, exactly 3 inches from the edge, just how he likes it. When he stepped out of the bathroom, steam clinging to his skin, he smiled at me. "You okay, Elle? You look a little pale." I smiled back. It was the first lie of many. "Just a headache, babe. I'm fine." We met in a coffee shop in Seattle. Cliché, right? He spilled his latte on my blueprints, I'm an architectural designer, and spent the next 3 hours apologizing by taking me to the best hidden galleries in the city. Mark was perfect. He was a freelance consultant, or so he said. He was the man who remembered that I liked my steak medium rare but my eggs over easy. He was the man who held my hand through my father's funeral and told me, "I'm never leaving you, Elena. We're a team." Our life was a symphony of perfects. We lived in a sun-drenched loft with floor-to-ceiling windows. We had a dog, a golden retriever named Barnaby. We had our spots, our songs, and our future. He'd talk about the house he wanted to build for us in the mountains. He'd draw sketches of a nursery. I loved him with a ferocity that blinded me. I worked 60-hour weeks to support us while he waited for his big contracts to clear. I gave him my credit cards, my trust, and my soul. I thought I was building a cathedral of a life. I didn't realize I was building it on quicksand. The day after the text, I didn't go to work. I went to a private investigator. "I need everything," I told the man behind the desk. Mark Sterling. 34, consultant. 2 days later, I got a file. It wasn't just a second family. Mark Sterling didn't exist. His real name was Marcus Thorne. He wasn't a consultant, he was a professional leech. He had a wife, Sarah, and 2 daughters in a suburb 2 hours away. He told her he worked on-site in the city during the week. He told me he was traveling for clients on the weekends. He had drained $40,000 from our joint savings account, money I had inherited from my father, to pay off the mortgage on their house. I sat in my car, clutching the steering wheel until my knuckles turned white. The man I loved was a fictional character. Every "I love you," every plan for the future, every kiss, it was all a transaction. He was using my sweat and my grief to fund a life with another woman. I looked at my reflection in the rearview mirror. My eyes looked different. The softness was gone. I realized then that I could destroy him today, or I could make sure he never recovers. I chose the latter. The first rule of revenge: you must be a better actor than the villain. For the next 6 months, I was the perfect girlfriend. I cooked his favorite meals. I laughed at his jokes. When he went to visit his sick mother, on weekends, I kissed him goodbye and told him he was such a good son. But while he was gone, I was working. I didn't just want to leave him. I wanted to dismantle him. I started by consulting for a friend's tech firm, secretly moving my remaining assets into an offshore account he couldn't touch. I slowly redirected his consulting emails, which I had found were actually just low-level scams, to a folder I controlled. I met Sarah. Not as Elena, the girlfriend, but as Claire, a potential buyer for a house in her neighborhood. I befuddled her. I saw the way he treated her, the same smiles, the same lies. She was a victim too, but she was deeper in. She depended on him. I began planting seeds. I accidentally left a high-end jewelry receipt in his pocket for a necklace I bought myself. I knew Sarah did the laundry on Saturdays. I watched him struggle to balance the lies. I watched him grow tired. And he stayed quiet. I was waiting for the one thing Marcus Thorne loved more than women: money. I told him I was coming into a massive inheritance from an undisclosed granduncle. $2 million. I showed him fake bank statements I'd spent weeks perfecting. I saw the glint in his eyes, the predatory hunger. He proposed that night. Down on one knee, in our loft, with a ring I later found out he bought with my own money. Yes, I whispered, crying real tears. Not of joy, but of pure, cold anticipation. A destination event in a remote coastal villa. He invited his business associates, mostly actors he'd hired or people he'd scammed. I told him I'd handle everything: the flights, the villa, the catering. Just bring your documents, babe, I told him. We're going to sign the trust fund papers right after the vows. You'll be a multimillionaire by sunset. The day arrived. We were at the villa, a stunning, isolated cliffside property. He was in his tuxedo, looking like the man of my dreams. Where's the officiant, Elle? He asked, looking at his watch. He's coming, I said, sipping champagne. But first, I have a wedding gift for you. It's in the study. He walked in, expecting a check. Instead, he found a laptop. On the screen was a live feed of his wife, Sarah, sitting in her living room. Next to her were 2 police officers and a fraud investigator. What is this? He stammered, the color draining from his face. That's your life, Marcus, I said, my voice as steady as a surgeon's. Sarah knows everything. She knows about the $40,000 you stole from me. She knows about the mortgage fraud you committed using her forged signature. And the police. They're there for the consulting business. It turns out, when you CC the IRS on all your fake invoices, they get very curious. He lunged for me, but I didn't flinch. 2 security guards I'd hired stepped out from the shadows. The villa isn't rented for a wedding, Marcus, I continued. I bought it. Or rather, the corporation I set up bought it. And you? You aren't on the guest list anymore. I handed him a folder. It contained every lie he told for 5 years, documented, time-stamped, and notarized. You have 10 minutes to get off my property before the local police arrive to escort you to the airport. Oh, and your credit cards. Cancelled. Your inheritance. Doesn't exist. Your car. Repossessed this morning. He looked at me, and for the first time in 5 years, I saw the real Marcus. He wasn't a charming consultant. He was a small, pathetic man with nothing but a tuxedo that didn't belong to him. "Elena, please," he sobbed. "I love you." "I know," I said, walking toward the door. "That's why this is going to hurt for the rest of your life." I won. He went to prison for 3 years for wire fraud and identity theft. Sarah divorced him and took what little was left. I got my money back through a civil suit. But as I sat in that massive, beautiful villa overlooking the ocean, the villa I bought with the blood, sweat, and tears of my revenge fund, I realized something. The silence I'd kept for 6 months hadn't just trapped him. It had changed me. I looked at Barnaby, our dog. He was sitting by the door, waiting for a man who would never come home. Barnaby didn't know about the lies. He just knew he missed his friend. I had spent half a year becoming a liar to catch a liar. I had learned how to fake a smile, how to manipulate a heart, and how to stay cold when I should have been human. I looked at the trust fund papers, the ones I'd forged. I was good at it. Too good. I had my justice, but I had lost my capacity to trust. I had burned down the cathedral to kill the rat inside, and now I was just standing in the ashes, wondering why it was so cold. The lesson. Revenge is a ghost. It promises you peace, but it only gives you a different kind of haunting. I'm moving next month. I'm selling the loft, the villa, and everything that reminds me of Marcus Thorne. People tell me I'm strong and brave for what I did. But every time I meet a new man, and he tells me I have a beautiful smile, I wonder if he's lying. And then, I wonder if I am, too. Betrayal breaks your heart. Revenge breaks your soul.
Thank you for listening to this journey of shadows and silence. It's a reminder that while the truth can set you free, the way you find it matters just as much as the truth itself. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the darker side of human nature. Until next time, keep your eyes open and maybe check your partner's phone. Just kidding. Or am I? Sleep well.